Hello everyone. Today we are going to see note making and summary writing. Students, first we have to know what is meant by note. Note is a brief record of points or ideas written down as an aid to memory. Now let's see why should we make notes. Notes help you to remember the information you have gathered. Then, notes come in handy for making quick revision before exams. Then, lengthy lessons can be condensed. Here, condensed means brief or short. So, lengthy lessons can be brief into short relevant pieces by making notes. Next, notes help in understanding the text better. So students, why make notes? To have a record of the speaker's or writer's main ideas, not to take down or copy every word. Then, to help one's memory when revising, for example, before an examination. Then, to make the speaker's or writer's views a part of your own knowledge. Now, we are going to see definition of note making. Note making is the practice of recording information captured from another source. By taking notes, the writer records the essence of the information, freeing their mind from having to recall everything. Now let's see what is meant by note making. Note making is a way of recording important details from a source. This source can be any book, article, meeting, or any oral discussion. In note making, the writer records the essence of the information. It helps us to understand and clarify thinking. Note making saves a lot of time by going through the notes made. One can get a glimpse of a lot of information from a short note. Now we are going to learn advantages of note making. A note making is a skill which improves by practicing. Here, skill refers to writing skill. So, a note making is a writing skill which improves by practicing. There are some advantages of note making. Let us get to know some of them. The first advantage is that it has great importance in exams or in academic writing. The second advantage is that it is an organization of main points for future use. The third advantage is that note making helps in keeping the information handy whenever we require. Let's see some more advantages of note making. It helps in recollecting and recalling the past events said or heard. It helps in concentrating, understanding, and provides a permanent record. Then, note making format helps a writer to go through bulky documents quicker. Here, bulky means large. So, note making format helps a writer to go through large documents quicker. The next advantage is that it helps in understanding a material if the notes are in own words. Then it distinguishes between main points and details. Next, we are going to learn characteristics of good notes. The first characteristic is that short and compact. So, good notes must be short and compact. The second characteristic is complete information. So, they must contain all the important information. The third characteristic is logical. So, they must be presented in a logical way. The fourth characteristic is understandable. So, they should be understandable when consulted at a later stage. Next, we are going to see mechanics of note making. While making notes, we follow certain standard practices. These may be listed as follows: A. Heading and subheadings. B. Abbreviation and symbols. C. Note form. D. Numbering and indentation. The first one is heading and subheadings. The heading reflects the main theme, whereas the subheadings point out how it has been developed. The second one is abbreviations and symbols. These are essential components of note making. Here, essential means important or vital. So, these are important components of note making. At least 4 recognizable abbreviations are to be used in note making. Section A, Symbols. Under this, we have universal symbols and mathematical symbols. Under mathematical symbols, we have and symbol for and, 3 dot for therefore, then 3 dot for because, IE for that is, percentage symbol for percent, 100 in number for 100, EG for example, VIZ for namely. Then we have mathematical symbols: greater than symbol for greater than, equal to symbol for equal to, at the rate symbol for at the rate of, less than symbol for less than, or symbol for or, before symbol for before. Section B, Abbreviations. Abbreviations can be divided into 3 groups: acronyms, contractions, short forms. Acronyms means capital initial letters. Contractions means taking first few letters of the word. Short forms means taking first few and last few letters. Now, let's see one by one in detail. Study the following examples. The first one is acronyms, that is capital initial letters. Examples: CBSE for Central Board of Secondary Education, CO for Commanding Officer, CM for Chief Minister, GPO for General Post Office, NCERT for National Council of Educational Research and Training, PM for Prime Minister, SHO for Station House Officer, SP for Superintendent of Police, UK for United Kingdom, USA for United States of America, UNO for United Nations Organization, UNESCO for United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, WHO for World Health Organization. So, these are all the examples for acronyms. Next, we are going to learn contractions. Contractions means taking first few letters of the word. Now let's see some examples for contractions. CAPT dot for captain, CO dot for company, COL dot for kernel, DAS dot for discount, ESP dot for especially, FIG dot for figure, HON dot for honorary, IN dot for inch, LAB dot for laboratory, LIB dot for library, REV dot for reverend, SC dot for science, SEPT dot for September, SIG dot for signature, SOC dot for society, TECH dot for technical, TEL dot for telegram, TELE dot for telephone, UNIV dot for university. So, these are all the examples for contractions. Next, we are going to learn short forms. Short forms means taking first and last letters. Let's see some examples for short forms. BK for book, DR for doctor, DFT for draft, DEPT for department, ESTD for established, FT for foot or feet, GOVT for government, LTD for limited, MR for Mr, MS for Miss or Mrs, ORG apostrophe ZN for organization, PT for point, RETD for retired, RELGN for religion, REC apostrophe D for received, SHD for should, STD for standard, STN for station, SECY for secretary, WT for weight, YR for year, YD for yard. Next, we are going to see some other contractions like A/C for account, BLDG for building, BKS for books, CAN apostrophe T, that is can't for cannot, CIVAL apostrophe ZN for civilization, CM for centimeter, C/O for care of, MS for manuscript, EDN for education, kg for kilogram, M for meter, N/A for not applicable, RDNG for reading, SHAN apostrophe T for shall not, WON apostrophe T, that is won't for will not, M/S for messers. Next, we are going to see use of full stop in an abbreviation. A. Often a full stop is put after an abbreviation which does not end with the last letter of the word, such as COL dot for kernel, DIV dot for division, CO dot for company, INFO for information. B. The abbreviations that end with the last letter of the word do not require any full stop at the end, such as GOVT for government, MS for miss, DR for doctor, 10th for 10th, MR for Mr, PT for Pandit, WRT apostrophe G for writing, WT for weight. Students, note, Confusing abbreviations should be avoided. Example, the abbreviation under may stand for understand, understood and understanding. Similarly, INDST may stand for industry, industrial, industrious. So, confusing abbreviations should be avoided. Next, let's see note form. While making notes, the whole information is listed in note form in points only. Notes should not be written in complete sentences as we can't remember the whole information. So only the main points are listed one under the other and numbered. It implies the logical division and subdivision of the listed information by using figures, letters, dashes and spaces. All examples and figurative speeches are eliminated. Next, we are going to see numbering and indenting. Under this, we have indentation. So, what is meant by indentation? Indentation means leaving space at the beginning of a line of print or writing. First, write the title and then write down the notes in a logical order. From the main headings to the subheadings, the numbering should be spaced a little to the right. Students, here we can see two intended formats. In the first format, we can see main sections, subsections, sub-subsections. In main sections, we can write 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. In subsections, we can write A, B, C, D, etc. In sub-subsections, we can write 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Or you may use another intended format, that is decimal system. Here also we can see main sections, subsections, sub-subsections. In main sections, we can write 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. In subsections, we can write 1.1, 1.2, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, etc. In sub-subsections, we can write 1.1.1, 1.1.2, 2.1.1, 2.1.2, etc. So students, you can use the first format or the second, that is decimal system. Next, we are going to see the procedure of note making. First, read the passage provided. Then, underline the important sentences. It helps to make headings and subheadings. Then, make a rough note first so as to get an idea. Next, organize them in logical order or sequence for the final note. Then, use the appropriate note-making format. Then, do not change the idea or the message of the passage. Next, let's see points to remember for note-making format. Avoid using long sentences as heading or title. Never lose the main idea of the passage. Then, ignore information which is less important. Next, be brief, clear and specific. Then, use logical sequencing. Next, use proper indentation. Then, leave no spaces to avoid confusion. Then, do not include your own version or understandings. Use abbreviations. Then, make your note more memorable by adding colors, drawings and symbols. Next, we are going to see note-making format. There is a fixed note-making format. One needs to follow this note-making format in order to have a clear and unambiguous understanding from it. Here, unambiguous means clear or explicit understanding from it. The note-making format as heading. It shows the title or the heading of note. Next, subheading. As the name suggests, a subheading is a subdivision of the main topic. One can use as many subheadings as he or she wants. Next, we have point. Below subheading, there are some points which are the part of the main topics. Then we have subheading. One can add more headings below the points for showing the category, types, advantages, etc. Then we have key or keywords. The key portion of the note shows the various codes, symbols, or the abbreviation used. It helps to get a clear understanding of the keys used in the note-making format. After key or keywords, which means after completing key to abbreviations, write the word summary and give the same title to it as the main passage. Then use points, that is notes, to write the summary. Next, we are going to see the short procedure of note making. First, read the text for an overall idea, that is for heading. Then, reread the passage for important points, that is for subheading. Then, jot down the supporting points, that is for points or subpoints. Then finally, arrange the points in a sequence, that is draft. Next, we are going to see note-making format. Students, this is your note-making format. First, you have to write heading or title. Under this, we have first subheading. Under first subheading, you have to write 2 points. Then we have second subheading. Under second subheading, you have to write 2 points. Under 2 points, you have to write 2 subpoints. Then we have third subheading. Under third subheading, you have to write 2 points. Next, we are going to see how to write note making. Follow the following steps. Step number 1. Read the passage carefully. Then, try to get the theme and subject of the passage. You may ask yourself, what is this passage about? This will provide you the gist. Step number 2. Read carefully. Identify main ideas and important supporting details. Step number 3. Make notes of the main ideas under headings and add subpoints under subheadings. Step number 4. Use proper format. Finally, step number 5. Use recognizable abbreviations wherever possible. Next, we are going to see an example of note making. Now, let's read the passage. There are many different kinds of musical instruments. They are divided into 3 main classes according to the way they are played. For example, some instruments are played by blowing air into them. These are called wind instruments. In some of these, the air is made to vibrate inside a wooden tube, and these are said to be of the woodwind family. The examples of this family are the flute, the clarinet, and the bassoon. Other instruments are made of brass. The trumpet and the horn are the examples. There are also various other wind instruments such as the mouth organ and the bagpipes. Some instruments are played by banging or striking them. One obvious example is the drum, of which there are various kinds. Instruments like this are called percussion instruments. The last big group of instruments are the ones which have strings. There are two main kinds of stringed instruments: those in which the music is made by plucking the strings, and those where the player draws a bow across the strings. Examples of the former are the harp and the guitar, and that of the latter are the violin and the cello. Students, here is a sample note making for you. I have given the title as musical instruments. Below that, I have written the word notes. In the first paragraph, I have written the subheading is kinds of musical instruments, and below that I have written 3 points like wind inst dot flute, then percussion inst dot, then stringed instruments. Here I have used abbreviation like inst dot, that is for instruments. Then under 3 points I have written 2 subpoints like made by plucking the strings. Next subpoint is that the player draws a bow across the strings. In the second paragraph also, I have written the subheading is how to play it, and below that I have written 2 points like by blowing air, then by banging or striking. Here, another important thing that you have to remember is indenting. Indenting is nothing but giving numbers to your subheadings and your points. Both should never fall in one line. Students, look at the points I have given for the subheadings. They are slightly inside compared to the subheading. So, students, this is very important. Remember, this is how your notes should look. Once you have completed writing the notes for all the paragraphs, below that you have to write the key to abbreviations. Here I have used only one abbreviation like inst dot for instruments. After completing key to abbreviations, you have to write summary. Next, we are going to see rules for summary writing. Before that, we have to know what is mean by a summary. A summary is a record in a reader's own words that gives the main points of a piece of writing, such as a newspaper article, the chapter of a book, or even a whole book. Now let's see rules for summary writing. The first rule is do not exceed word limit given in the exam. So, word limit should be 60 to 70 words. Second rule is summary is made out of notes and not the passage. Third rule is do not divide the summary in different paragraphs. Rule number 4. Do not use abbreviations in summary. Fifth rule is write complete, grammatically correct sentences. Rule number 6. Try to follow the order of the notes as far as possible. Students, after completing key to abbreviations, you will be writing the summary with the help of the notes that you have formed. Once you write the summary, you have to write the word summary on top, and along with the word summary, don't forget to give the same title that you have used for the main passage. Students, here I have given the same title as musical instruments. Now let's see summary. There are many different kinds of musical instruments. They are divided into 3 main classes like wind instruments, that is flute, percussion instruments and stringed instruments. How to play it? By blowing air and banging or striking. Stringed instruments by plucking the strings and banging or striking. So, students, this is how you have to write the summary. So, students, as a whole, note making is a useful skill. You must develop it with constant practice. Notes form an essential part of your academic life and will serve you well in your school or board examinations. I have enclosed the classwork instructions in the PDF. Kindly refer it. So now we have reached the end of this session. Thank you.